We're here today with the members of the Guardian Angels, and we want to know who you are and why you're here today.
Well, first off, my name is Sliwa. I'm founder and Angels. And we've been active now for 33 years. The anniversary was February 13th, that just passed, of our very first patrol. And since we started in the Bronx 33 years ago, we've since expanded now to 17 countries in 140 cities with close to 5,000 members, with a lot of ancillary programs. But the basis of what we do is to go out and patrol without weapons, no special powers and privileges, and risk our lives. So naturally, as we move forward to our latest venture in Odessa, the Ukraine, we have decided to come here to the gravesite of the Rebbe to get a blessing, so that as we push forward with this new venture, the men and the women involved there in Odessa will be protected. Anywhere else that they develop throughout the Ukraine, they'll be protected, and obviously we'll have good luck and good fortune in what can be a very dangerous and troubling time. The other reason we're here is on behalf of Ask Noah, since obviously much of what they've written about, much of their theology is directly put into practice in terms of the work that we do, where we go out and we protect those who are least capable of protecting themselves, risking our life at all times to do such.
A question that many people might ask you is, have you ever met the Rebbe before?
Yes, in fact, I met the Rebbe Menachem Schneerson during the midst of the Crown Heights riots. It was at a time of great discord. The community was under siege. I knew Crown Heights like the back of my hand because I had virtually grown up in that community, going to elementary school and high school there. Was summoned into 770 Eastern Parkway to hear the sermon, the presentation that was being made by the Rebbe that day. And naturally, the assembly hall was packed, no audio, so everyone was straining to hear his words. He was obviously up there in years. And many of the congregation said, "Oh, the Rebbe seems to be looking directly at you." I said, "Nah, he's probably looking at me because I'm the only one in this crowd that's not wearing a black hat. I got the red kippah here, the red beret, and I've got the red sateen jacket." So at the end of his presentation, a few of the Lubavitch summoned me forward. He was giving out the tradition of the Rebbe dollars, and he actually gave me 2 Rebbe dollars. One was for all the Guardian Angels who he recognized were out there protecting the Lubavitch, and the other Rebbe dollar was personally for me, for my safety, as he was aware that I was always being threatened, always potentially under attack. And the ironic thing is, and in fact you could actually see the video that was made of that up on YouTube, the Rebbe dollar, in which I speak of that occasion. A few years later, I was in the back of a cab on June 19th of 1992, and the Gambino crime family was putting a hit on me, the Gaudis. And they had shot me a total of 3-4 times with hollow point bullets when I dived out of a moving cab. And when I survived the attempted hit on the ground and they took all my personal items, they opened up my wallet that I always carry with me. And as you can see, it's a big fat wallet. And in there was a Rebbe dollar. Now, the wallet at that time was soaked with all my blood. The only thing that did not have a taint of blood on it was the Rebbe dollar with the Rebbe's picture in the middle where George Washington generally is on the American currency. So naturally people were saying, "Oh, well, you had the protection of the Rebbe. That's why you survived it." Obviously had a wealth of experiences, and he was a tried and true Guardian Angel for many, many years. And even once he left New York, he always stayed in touch, would always visit Guardian Angel chapters wherever he was. And recently we reconnected with him. He was interested and has moved forward in organizing our first chapter in the Ukraine, in Odessa, which in fact will be opening up in April. And he presented with me the booklet of the 7 laws of the Noahides. These are obviously for the non-Jews, the Gentiles, of which I'm one, of which David Igorov was one, and he expressed to me what they stand for. And obviously how he felt that many of these laws were incorporated into what we do on a regular basis as Guardian Angels. The selfless service, trying to do good, all of those humanitarian gestures that are spoken about in this text. And so I saw the synergy right away. So it's interesting that the good work, the good deeds of the Noahides, as exemplified in our member David Igorov, definitely has found its place within what the Guardian Angels do on a normal basis.
One of the commandments that God gave to Noah was that he should establish a system of law and justice. Now, how is the Guardian Angel Society or organization involved with helping societies around the world follow that specific law?
Well, oftentimes the guardian angels are dispatched into areas where there is no law and there is no justice. It's anarchy that prevails, and that's survival of the fittest. That's Darwinian, and that is wrong. So obviously the poor, the impoverished, the elderly men, the women, the children, they're in need of protection, and the guardian angels go in there and fulfill that. But most importantly, to those who may not have the knowledge, to those who may not have the verbal skills, the guardian angels are there to protect them, to provide information to law enforcement to solve crimes, and to make sure that the criminal justice system is working so that people are not denied their rights. Because oftentimes, victims are literally so emasculated that they're afraid to come forward. They're afraid to work through the criminal justice system. And we are their guardian angels in that regard, protecting them from the thugs and the hoodlums, and then literally guiding them through the maze of the bureaucracy that may eventually get them justice in the court system.
So Curtis, what do you think about Ask Noah International's efforts to promote this specific law, the commandment of the law and justice?
So Ask Noah's desire to spread this, that people will become aware of what the law about law and justice is so important, because for the Gentile especially, they don't have any of the Old Testament teachings. And so there's a void in the teachings that they've had. So with this being so specific to what people need, where there is no law, or where there is law that doesn't work because of corruption, it at least gives them a guiding light in terms of how to achieve that goal. We see that in countries oftentimes where there is revolution in the streets to throw themselves out of the hands of tyranny, and then the one thing they're lacking is law and justice. Even though they have their freedom, they have no structure. And that's obviously what this law was intended to bring forth to the people, and it's what the guardian angels wrestle with on a daily basis.